The people behind ChatGPT have announced that they have got images 2.0. So what they're basically saying is that they're better at making images. So we can hop over to ChatGPT, and it's the normal one, except it has this little images thing here. You can ignore things after question marks usually, just as for them to track you. You can see that basically is their normal address plus images, and I'll pop something in here asking for a comic book. I'll give it a topic and give it a suggestion of an artistic style. So there's one I've done earlier, which I'll show you in a moment, which is down there. But let's have a look at this. This is attempting to one-shot it, you might say, where we're just giving it the info or some guidance, but we're just telling it, perhaps in a slightly lazy way, and we're leaving it to it. So, okay, we'll leave that running because it's taking a while. Let's have a look at some things we did before. Here, I was in the normal, let's say ChatGPT, not the one that has the images part, in the part here where it's working mainly in text, and I've told it, let's work out a storyboard for a comic book page. So those are the instructions that a writer would produce to give to an artist. So in that way, we're breaking it into two parts, writing, then creating the art. And this is more like a normal process that would be used to make comics in the past. Here we're saying it working through it and identifying different panels and what will be said. So I'd say, go ahead and make it, but it doesn't seem able to go on and make the image at this point. I'll need to switch perhaps to the other one to do that, but it does allow me to get more clarity from it about what's going to happen. So it talks about the angles, and here it's describing things in cinematic fashion. Compare this here. It's really going into the detail there. Whereas if we went up here, it did have detail, but it didn't actually describe it in such a cinematic way, I would say. Then I said, go and make it. Again, it's still working it out in text, but again in more detail. Eventually I realized that we'll need to switch over to the other method, but I do quite like what we've got here. So I simply copy this and I go over to the layout design and I give it all that. It comes in as that kind of markdown. You can sort of see the actual bold and things like that indicated by asterisks, but you can sort of see that these art direction notes for the illustrator is exactly where we left off here. And that kind of bold text there is indicated by this kind of heading, which is markdown syntax, as we call it. Then it makes that, and we can see that. I'll switch over to it in the background so you can see it a bit. That's quite nice, I think. It is a self-contained story that works quite well. It's consistent in its theme and in the images it produces and the characters. So it works. Let's still go over and see if we have a result from the one where we tried to one-shot it, see if we've got here. Okay, so this is my first time seeing this. I'll just download that. Okay, I like that style too. Slightly different style. But here I have no option to sort of edit or to check what it's going to put into each of these panels. So in a sense, I've handed over control more to the AI, but you might find that works for you. I mean, it's up to you, but you can break it into two steps if you want to sort of go through the script and see if it's what you like. So I think in both cases, it works pretty well. This is probably more faithful, in fact, to the kind of art that I suggested, because I suggested one called In the Style of Lone Wolf and Cub, which is a kind of comic. So here we can see the kind of style that the original would be drawn in. So we can judge there whether that's approximately the right style, and I think it is pretty good. And actually, that style is quite effective there for conveying a sense of stress, let's say, certainly around this student who's suffering it. So I do quite like that, but still, I do also like the other one that I have, which is this one. So that's a perhaps less dynamic, more of a lonely kind of problem, but I think they both work. So anyway, what we're saying is that if you break it into two steps where you make a storyboard and then the art, that allows you to decide if the script is how you want it. Either way works depending on how much control you want. So thanks for watching.